What's up?
Some people say I'm a killer.
What?
Jab to the mouth, then a shot to the liver.
Oof.
Her man want to take me to dinner. I call him, what's his name? I don't even remember.
Who?
I know you nervous, baby. But now you with the boss, bitch. She's the worst, baby.
Brokey.
And I deserve it, baby. Because ain't nobody give me shit. I had to earn it, baby.
Yes.
She don't like me because I spend money. I'm in the real estate. I've been crib hunting.
It's hard to believe how
The extent to which this tale has deteriorated over the years is astounding. Remy Ma and Papoose were perceived by the public as the pair that characterized allegiance. They were more than simply well-known artists or rappers. They served as the model. Someone would bring up their names whenever someone questioned if love could last in hip-hop. When she was at her lowest, Papoose kept her grounded. Fans felt their love was unbreakable because of the way he protected her and celebrated her when she returned home. However, the same connection that motivated so many people has now become a public conflict. What started out as whispered rumors has turned into a full-fledged conflict. And everyone is witnessing all the chaos as it happens. Papoose's decision to cease performing The Silent Husband marked a sea change. For some time, many assumed he would ignore it, keep his head down, and let Remy's decisions be made. However, pictures of him out with a new woman became viral on the internet. People vowed that he had at last moved on. And it became difficult to deny whether it was really love or only retaliation. The pictures were posted everywhere by blogs. Half shocked, half joking, memes appeared. The man who was previously hailed as hip-hop's most devoted husband suddenly became known as the man who was eager to show off a new partner. Remy only needed to snap at that. She had no intention of sitting idly by as others portrayed her as the resentful ex and Papoose as the happy man. She responded by clapping back. It wasn't nuanced. There was no silence. In interviews where she didn't hold back her criticism and in Instagram postings, her remarks were filled with hate. She criticized ladies who find it nice to be second. Her tone made it apparent that she wasn't impressed with Papoose's movement. And she dropped remarks that fans immediately related to his rumored lover. Fans devoured it. Every post and every excerpt from an interview was broken down like a jigsaw. She had every right to be upset. Several others said, encouraging her. She was accused by others of being resentful and of only speaking up now that the roles had been reversed. However, one thing was for sure. Everyone was waiting to see if Papoose would react after Remy's remarks touched a chord. And he did answer. However, none anticipated what he said. Papoose tossed petrol on the fire rather than ignoring her retort or attempting to defuse the issue. Fans were shocked by his retaliatory charges. He started implying in interviews and cryptic writings that Remy hadn't been the devoted wife that everyone believed her to be. He asserted that even before he was ever connected to anybody else, she had been acting strangely. Then, without anyone noticing, he dropped the bomb. He said that she had a covert affair. The internet went down. Those remarks were significant because they didn't seem like small-time retaliation coming from Papoose, the man who had devoted years to preserving Remy's reputation. It had the sound of a confession. Fans were alarmed by the inference, even if he first refrained from naming names. The dude was who? What time did it occur? Was this the initial cause of the marriage's disintegration? People had viewed Papoose as the rock, the solid one, for years. The whole narrative was turned upside down when he suggested that perhaps Remy was the one who initially betrayed the trust. Rumors of the purported romance began to circulate. According to blogs, Remy has been spotted at certain occasions late at night without Papoose. Unnamed industry insiders began making vague references to text messages, hote, lobby areas, and secret meetings that never happened. Screenshots started to circulate. Some were obviously phony, but others were plausible enough to stir things up. Unexpectedly, there was a sudden division in the internet. Remy was vehemently backed by several followers, who claimed that Papoose was just reacting because he was spotted moving on. Others felt that his statements had to be true. Why would Papoose, of all people, lie about something like that, after all? And Remy's thoughts remained incisive throughout the conversation. She clapped back more forcefully this time, criticizing Papoose as well as the new lady. She accused him of playing the victim when he wasn't innocent and of attempting to change history. Although her tone implied that she wasn't afraid of the accusations, sources said that she was incensed behind closed doors. This was more than simply her marriage, in her opinion. It was about her reputation, her heritage, and her name being tarnished by the man who had vowed to keep it safe. Fans were glued to their TVs during the back and forth. It was more than simply drama. History was being revealed in real time. After then, the celebrity responses started to flood in, turning the entire situation into a hip-hop civil war. Fans immediately related Cardi B's cryptic remarks about guys using women's names to hide their own immorality to those made by Papoose. Remy's family, Fat Joe, supported her in public by sharing old pictures of her and letting everyone know how strong she is. Conversely, some artists stayed neutral, while others subtly supported Papoose by or sharing his works. The fire was fueled by each reply. Fans took sides, creating a battlefield on social media for days. Hashtags like Dodger Team Papoose and Dodger Team Remy were popular. Some fans were shocked to see that the pair they had formerly thought was the strongest in the game was suddenly revealing personal details like a reality show. Others acknowledged that they weren't shocked, asserting that the loyalty image had always seemed too good to be true, and that no partnership is flawless, blaming Remy and showing off a new lover. Then, too, his reputation as the loyal spouse was eroding. People weren't only inquiring as to who was correct or incorrect. They wanted to know the true identity of the antagonist. Did Remy betray anyone? Did Papoose act out of retaliation? Or did the truth lie somewhere in the muddled center where they had both committed irreparable errors? The distinction between gossip and the truth became more hazy as more rumors proliferated. Screenshots of alleged DMs appeared. Anonymous accounts and voicemails purporting to be from the claimed affair partner vowed to know the whole truth, while some of it was blatantly false and intended to garner attention. Others seemed plausible enough to lead supporters to question whether Papoose's charges were genuine. The music industry followed the entire event as if it were a live soap show. Artists whispered that relationships and friendships were being torn apart by this rivalry. Those who had previously shared a stage were now compelled to take sides or remain mute. Industry insiders acknowledged behind the scenes that it was one of the most repulsive splits in hip-hop history. Not because relationships never break up, but rather because this one was based on a shattered concept of loyalty. The fact that it doesn't feel like the end is the most absurd aspect. Because Remy isn't the kind to overlook allegations, this feels like the start of something much bigger. Papoose may be underestimating her willingness to leave if he truly believes that revealing her will destroy her. And Papoose has demonstrated that he isn't scared to burn the planet by breaking his silence in this manner. So here we are, sitting in the front row as what was once the epitome of black love falls apart right in front of our eyes. A pair that represented devotion, tenacity, and solidarity, now caught up in a fierce and treacherous storm. In the past, Remy and Papoose served as the model. Through jail bids and public scrutiny, they held each other down, ride or die. However, the same love story is now unraveling, and it's doing it in the most painful and public way imaginable. Remy responds on social media with cryptic messages and unrepentant bravado, now involved with a new partner. Once the silent guardian Papoose is now taking front stage, disclosing claimed extramarital relationships and revealing facts that fans never anticipated. There is a fire on the internet. Every side-eye moment, live broadcast, and post is examined and analyzed. Individuals are now taking sides instead of only observing. Additionally, love is not the law in the court of public opinion. Loyalty is not. It's disorganized. It is both painful and addicting. Like being unable to look away from a slow-motion auto accident. There is a new twist, a new rumor, and a new layer revealed every day. And this is the question that clings to the atmosphere like smoke. How much more can be made public before everything is gone? How many secrets are still kept in the dark, just waiting to surface and erode what little trust there is left? Since this is more than simply a breakup, broken promises and repressed suffering are the foundations of this conflict. Additionally, loyalty didn't just crumble when it broke. It broke, shattered into bits that were sharp enough to sever them both, leaving quite visible wounds, while the couple at the center of it all struggles to regain what dignity they still have. Fans lament the love they believe to be genuine. Perhaps, yet, it is the tragedy of it all. When such a powerful love ends, the devastation is as epic as the tale that gave rise to it.